Welcome back to the Sunday Roast, the show that overreacts to the weekend's footy, the show that roasts the losers and celebrates the winners, the show that gives you all the best odds of the weekend, the show that just watched a great game up on the Gold Coast in Heritage Bank Stadium, the show with one happy supporter while the other team had a bye. As always, joining me, Jev Dobe. How are you, my brother?
Jev, I am good. I'm Mickey Mouse. I'm ready to go. What a game that was on a Sunday Arvo.
That was very good.
They need to keep putting more good games on at 4 o'clock on a Saturday and 4 o'clock on a Sunday.
100%. It's a good
There's
time
just
to watch
something
footy,
about
isn't
if you're doing nothing on a Saturday, you can sit there on the couch. It's just perfect. You get dinner, and then if you want to watch the after game, you can. Like even now, like it's perfect. You got a little bit of downtime before you wind down. It was a cracking game. With the whole round as well, I reckon I probably would have only got 2 tips wrong. I thought it was pretty self-explanatory, like what you thought. I don't think anyone saw Freo doing that.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. I did one of the tips as well. The only one I got wrong was Melbourne. Yeah, I got the rest right as well. And everyone else was complaining how hard it was. I thought it was a pretty easy round to tip, but we'll see anyway. The people, the listeners of this show are going to be absolutely rapt that the Swans had a bye, so I don't crap on for too long and talk too much shit. But one of our teams did play. Let's go all the way back to Thursday night. The Carlton Blues get their first win at Adelaide Oval against an Adelaide-based team. Their second win at Adelaide Oval for the year, Das, once they beat Freo at Gather Round. You are the Blues man. I know you're on night shift and you listened to it on night shift and then you went and rewatched it. Talk to me.
Yeah, I had to just go up to one of the supervisors and just say, mate, do you mind if I just work up here? I get a bit of reception here. I just want to put in the ears. I just want to give a shout out as well to the SEN team. Matt Hill, Jared Waitley, and Kane Corns was absolutely velvet.
Yeah,
it is velvet. Like Kane in real time. I reckon when he's on Footy Classified and stuff, he has like a bit of time to think about his takes. But when he's bringing in real time, I thought he was so good. He was just such a good complimentary piece for Jared and Matt Hill. But Jev, I thought that was a full 4-quarter performance. I honestly couldn't have been happy with how the boys played. It's always good to get a roadie. We don't get too many of the Blues, so it's really nice to get a roadie there, especially in Adelaide. So it's obviously the first game that we've won there, Jev, as you did mention. So earlier in the week, I chucked a pineapple on us to win at $2.62. I just thought that was bet of the week. I just don't think Port are playing that well. So they got smacked by the Crows in the showdown by 30 points. They played 2 good quarters against the Cats. They played 1 good quarter against the Hawks, and then they handled North. But apart from that, I don't think that they were worthy to be absolutely dead favourites. But the way that Carlton play, obviously we've got a few guys back in, but the profile that Carlton should have every single time that we play, if it looks like this, Jev, you'd think that we would win. So obviously if everyone's healthy, but if De Koning's playing mostly ruck, and then that way he can at least assist in the clearances and he can impact the scoreboard. So if that's what De Koning's doing, that's great for our Carlton profile. The next one, if Harry Mackay can go pinch hit in the ruck, who I think is really good, but get up the ground, he's one of the best bailout mark options. So usually we say our Max Gawn's really good at that, but so is Harry. Harry's really good at coming up the ground, whether the kick out from 50 or just the one up on the wing. So if he's doing that, Charlie's ability, if we can keep him free one-on-one, and when he's not, get him up the ground, because his 60 to 70 metre through ball coming inside forward 50 is one of the most dangerous things in footy. So if he's not getting it too much down forward, get him up the ground, because that's how we can get everyone in. I think Kemp and McGovern play as much lockdown roles as they can, with Cowan coming through to help out where he can, because that way we can have the big fella, Jacob Wiedering, sort of just patrolling, and he can assist and intercept as much as possible. Then we've got the ball surgeons. So we usually got 3 of them. These are the guys we really want to be taking the kick. So Boyd, Sard, and Newman from the back line. They're our smaller guys that we want to hit off that 45 or get that one in ball. Then we've got our diffusers. So the guys that we just want to get pressure on and lock down. So that's Kennedy, Hewitt, Fogarty, and Chincotta. So Chincotta's been tagging a little bit more, but they're the guys, they don't have to be super flashy, but just do your job and apply pressure. Then we've got our runners. So you've got Akers, the Hollands boys, and then Cottrell when he's there. Just run up and back the whole time. And then you've got the engine room. So Cripps and Walsh, the crash and bash, whatever you want to call them, Batman and Robin. I love that they're now taking turns on who's going inside and who's going outside. Cripps, you saw the back end of the first quarter, so the last quarter, he was the one bursting away from stoppage. He only had 3 clearances for the game, while Walsh had the 8. Now, Walsh's kicking has been letting him down. I think he only went by 24% by foot the other game, but it's only going to get better. And the only thing I haven't really touched on is the smalls and the small forward because they're way too inconsistent. But just want to say the Zach Williams magnet up forward has been sensational. 7 goals in the last 2 weeks. But he looks like he just gets to the right spots.
He looks like a smart footballer, doesn't he?
Yeah, he gets to the right spot. So I thought we ran out the game really well. Huge game against the Bombers. But if we bring that profile where everyone plays their role, I think we're going to go really far and we can definitely push every team in the comp. When we don't bring that, we're so unpredictable. But that's the Carlton footy, Jev.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, no, let me go Port Adelaide first. So I tell you I don't know how it's getting media coverage in Adelaide, but this Connor Rosie hamstring thing is a fucking debacle. So he did the hammy the week before the showdown. It was a 1 week hammy, they reckon. He came and played the showdown. They got smashed. He had a shocker. Then we haven't seen him since, and apparently he's not even that close. He was just in the squad, but he wasn't good enough. So he didn't play Carlton, North, Hawks, Geelong, and he just played Adelaide. He did it against St Kilda. So it's a 6-week hammy, and they tried to bring him back after 1. That is a massive fuck up for your captain. They are so lucky they beat Hawthorn and they beat Geelong. They were good against Geelong. But, yeah, and I agree. And David King said this. I'm sort of stealing his, but it felt like they recruited average and they are average in the way Brandon Zerk-Thatcher is just bang on average, isn't he? And he got taken to the Clans the other night, and it's like – he's just an average footballer. Radaglia, he's average. He's okay. He's just sort of average. Has a crack. He definitely has a crack, but he's just bang on average. Ryan Burton isn't playing that well. I just think they've recruited a little average, and it's all you can get. Key backs don't grow on trees. You got to get who you can get, and if they're available, you'd rather them at your team than another team, but they're just not that reliable down back. Horn Francis and Butters. Horn Francis is fucking awesome to us. He is fucking good. He's going to be so good. Butters was still good. That was a good battle. But yeah, Cripps and Walsh just got it done. Walsh's kicking was a bit iffy. His disposal was a bit.
I got to watch the second quarter. There was 3 in a row that he just directly turned over. He had 2 the week before when he went to kick inside to Charlie and just shanked and kicked it straight to Mac Andrews. And he's just there, just fuck. And you can just see how far, whether you just got to take a little second. But you said key defenders don't grow on trees. You know who else don't? Key forwards.
No.
Todd Marshall. What is he? What is he, Jev? I mean, how much are they paying him? $850?
Yeah.
Because they thought he'd be the next one. He's not a key forward anymore. Now, I've been saying it all year. Charlie Dixon.
He's done.
He's done.
He's
done. And then they're floating Finn Layson through. Georgiades actually played a good game. He's actually a good set shot. We have said that for a couple of years. If he has his chances, he's good. But they just seem like, when I was listening, were they just going a million? Because I only watched the mini, but they were just trying to go a million miles an hour and just be we're trying to rob the bank here. We're going to go for every single thing, run every red light.
There was some in a row.
We got to slow it down a little bit when we needed to, and then
they just kept going, trying to go too fast. Das, what do North Melbourne, Richmond, St Kilda, Adelaide, and Hawthorn all have in common?
So
I know they're all outside of the 8. Not one of them have one player better than Carlton's top 4 superstars. If there was a schoolyard and you put the whole of North Melbourne's list, the whole of Richmond's list, the whole of St Kilda's list, the whole of Adelaide's list, and the whole of Hawthorn's list, and then the whole of Carlton's list, the first 4 picks, if you were doing a schoolyard draft, would be Curnow, Cripps, Walsh, Wiedering. That you have 4 players better than any player they have on their list. And after those 4, and you got Mackay in there, DeConning's a good player, you could have 15 Hawks players nearly, and you could have so many Crows players and stuff, but that you have 4 superstars that are better players than 6 teams have any player. And you could nearly put West Coast in there. We know what Harley Reid's going to be, but if it's right now, you could chuck West Coast in there as well, as the first 4 picks would be those 4 players. So that's as you say, that's the Carlton profile. It's the difference and why I said you might miss the finals for the year. And it's why Carlton can either win the flag and you won't be surprised, and they can miss the finals and you won't be surprised, because if 1 or 2 get injured and they have quiet days, you don't win footy games. But when they're all flying, you're like, is any team beating this team? So
for sure.
It was a fucking good win.
I think you'd rather have that problem than not have it. It's like if
Absolutely.
you get to a big stage and you're like, sometimes these players just like Cripps might take it by the scruff of the neck. Walsh will. But we mentioned this a couple times. We love how the top players in the league all are doing it the same way, yet so differently. So in the last quarter, you got Dacos always kicking a couple, having touches. Bont doing it, which we'll get into. Cripps doing it. Heaney doing it. Warner doing it.
Yep.
All the guns, they're all kicking a couple of goals, and it just seems like a settler. And the crowd gets up more and about because they're superstars, and it's just like it brings the rest of the team with you. That last quarter,
3 minutes,
the clearances he was getting. I've said it. He doesn't look so quick. He doesn't look quick or agile, Cripps, but he just moves, and he's fucking so strong.
So strong. That was so impressive. That would
really
be one of those ones like, when you're at a game and you see someone burst from a stoppage and kick a goal, and you're like, I can't wait to watch the replay of that, like on Instagram or on the TV, and then you go and watch it and it's just as good, and you're like, it just stands out in your mind when someone bursts from a pack and kicks a snag, and you're like, fuck, that is awesome. Like that Cripps one is just one of those ones you just like, you're going to remember sort of thing. If you were there, you're like, I just watched Pat Cripps one night kick 2 goals in 3 minutes to win them the game, and like you just never forget that sort of shit. Like I think you've seen a Judd goal in person. You talk about it all the time. You're like, that was just fucked. I'll never forget it because it was just so fast and athletic.
I may as well say it now, but Cripps is up to his eyeballs in this Brownlow race. Yep, I'm telling you, if he gets a couple of votes in the first game against Brisbane, which I don't think people are expecting to, and Richmond, watch out because the other games he will vote. And I'll say it now before I forget, Jev, next week's game, it's a big pub day for us, actually. We all go on the pub. So we're going to go to the game, but the tickets sold out. We got Swans Geelong at 3 o'clock, and then we got Carlton Essendon. So whatever your mates are doing, if you didn't get tickets to a game, get your mates together, go to a pub, have a cracking pub day because we've all got the Monday off.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel, Jev, this could be the game like last year, how it was Bontempelli and Toby Green. I know it's still probably a little bit earlier in the season, but Zach Merritt and Cripps, this could be for the All-Australian captain.
Yeah, I love
Toby
this
Green
call.
won it last year, and he ended up winning the award. Like, I just feel the way Zach Merritt's going and Cripps is going, this Sunday night, everyone's going to be watching, and I just feel whoever wins this game, whoever has a better performance, will get that captain of the All-Australian team because they're both there. They're both there in that. As long as Cripps keeps up this momentum, he'll at least be minimum like a bench player. Like he's playing that well and he's been in the rolling team pretty much all year, but him and Merritt having great seasons, Jev, and I just feel this could be one of those games where when it comes down to the end of it, whether it's a coin toss, they go back and look at this game and see who's leadership, who stood up in the crunch time. But massive game, very happy. We'll go through some odds quickly.
Just before, while you look up the odds, I'm going to take you back to that exact game. So round 20 last year, the Giants beat the Dogs by 5 points in Ballarat. And before the game, it was like, it's Toby Green versus Bont. Winner of this game is nearly the All-Australian. Bont had 27 touches. Toby Green, 5 goals, 19 touches, and won in the game in that last quarter. I'm pretty sure in the fourth, he kicked a goal in the fourth. He kicked 4 goals in the third quarter. That's right. He had 4 goals in the third quarter, won in the game off his own boot, and was the All-Australian captain. So I love this call from you, Das. Winner of this game this week, Essendon Carlton, Cripps versus Merritt, could be the All-Australian captain this year. It's a great call. As you said, it feels a little early right now, but it's such a good indicator that when they go head-to-head on a primetime game on the MCG, fucking awesome call. Awesome call. Some odds.
Georgiades, Jev, kick 4. He was at $13. So the Georgiades family will be eating well this weekend. Zach Williams had another 3 goals, Jev, which was $12. Kerno 3 goals, which was $2.12, which is pretty handy. Mackay also kicked 3, $3.20. Loved how he went up the ground. Cripps for 2 goals. He was $4.40. So little Coda might be having some better baby formula this week.
Walsh for 30.
That would have been paying chips, I reckon.
Yeah, it's like $1.70, I think. Wines for 25.
$1.50, Jev.
Wines for 25. Anything in that?
He's actually having a pretty good season, Ollie Wines.
He's
probably trying to get some trade value up. Ollie Wines, $1.88. Pretty short.
Not bad. Jackson Mead for 20.
Jacko Mead. Is he kidding?
That's about it.
The Mead sausage roll, $2.30. So
Not bad. Not bad. What was I going to say?
Jacko meat and potatoes.
Oh, you know, last week when you hit Zach Williams for 4 at unbelievable odds, my odds boost on Sportsbet this week was Zach Williams 64-1 for 4. And I'm like, he's not doing it back-to-back weeks. So I didn't touch it. I didn't even have $1 on it. I just thought he's not doing it. And then he kicked 3 goals too and probably should have kicked 4. So I got away with one there.
I've hit 4 of those odd boosts this year and they haven't given me one in weeks.
Oh, really? I had him in every game this weekend. So it shows you got him. I can't get him. They gave me Cozzy pick for 4 today. I thought, you're going to regret that one, but he didn't have a kick. We'll get into that later. Next game, Western Bulldogs versus the Pies. The Dogs get it done by 18 points. This game was just a couple of superstars just clanging and banging heads. You talk about it first. Go for it.
So, same thing. I was at work, so I was listening to it, but I did get to go back and watch a bit of it. I just want to say, Jev, primetime underdogs on Thursday, Friday night is absolutely cash. So, the Dogs were underdogs on Tuesday. You could have got $1.98 for them, but then the market just kept coming in and in. So, Carlton underdogs, and then obviously the Dogs underdogs. So, they just keep cashing. Me and Nida went through it yesterday. They're like 70% on the season. It's actually unbelievable. But my prediction before the game was the Dogs were going to win similar to how the Swans beat the Bombers. It was at the death of every quarter where they would score and run out the game a little bit better. Look, I thought the Pies were a little bit more inexperienced coming into it, and I was convinced on that in that part of the game when the whips are cracking that they wouldn't stand up in those moments just because they probably haven't trained with the ones enough, or when it really as the pressure comes on, they're not exactly sure what to do or how to do it when the pressure comes. So, look, I thought the Dogs did run out the game a lot better. Well, that's where they got them in the last quarter. So, it was a lot closer than what I thought. But when you look at the players that really stood up, you had a few from each side. So, Bont, obviously, Treloar, Bailey Dale for the Dogs. The Dacos boys and Chris for the Pies was amazing. But this was definitely the Sam Darcy breakout game. He's 208 centimetres. His old man was 196, I looked up. So, Sam Darcy's 208. He's fucking huge. So
that's a foot. He's a whole foot taller than his old man.
Yeah, he looks it. He looks ginormous, and I just don't know. Like it's great that Norton's down that they can stick in tampon lob. He's always in for 1 out for 3, but I just don't see him going forward. But it's a luxury that they got another tall. But I thought Jamara was going to rip the legs off the game, but. You feel that they've got too many tools, but when someone gets injured, it's nice having someone else going. But the Dogs, what a performance, Jev. Talk about Dacos' first half and what you saw from Bont, because sometimes you look at the pyramid and you're like, should he still be there? And then you have a game like this, he's like, that is why he's there.
So it was a bit of like Dacos' first half was just I'm just looking at it now. So 6 touches and a goal in the first quarter, then 12 touches and a goal in the second quarter. So he had 18 touches and 2 goals at halftime. He was just fucking unbelievable. And then Bont was like, righto, young fella, hold my beer. I'll take it from here. Then Bont starts standing on him on stoppages, takes it personally. He's had 38 touches and 2. He's had 7 disposals, then 14 disposals in the fourth quarter and a goal. So he's had 21 and a goal in the second half. I don't know how many clearances he had. It was a fucking fair few. But Dacos, what did Dacos have? 27 contested disposals and 12 clearances or something. It was the most contested.
16 clearances.
It was the most contested possessions and most clearances in Collingwood history, which is just unbelievable. And then Bont's gone and had, how many clearances he have? 10 clearances, 3 centre clearances, 500 metres gain, kick to himself. Oh, it was just fucking awesome. Das, what I want to say about Marcus Bontempelli is it's like he is the absolute perfect footballer in the way if you logged on to the brand new AFL game and you're building a player from scratch and you go, right, how tall do you want him? Where do you want him to play? So you go on, I want this big, fast, strong, clean, can take a grab, super around the footy, can kick it and can kick a goal and is a leader. You're building Bontempelli. Like he's dead set like the perfect footballer. And it's sort of like, yeah, you're just like, if you put resumes aside and and every single person, like in the Slim Shady video, was dressed like Slim Shady. They all looked the same, all the same color jumpers, and you put all resumes aside and he didn't know anything. And they were all the superstars are out there just playing. It's like he's one of the best midfielders I've ever fucking seen. Like just his size and how clean he is below his like knees, and then he can take a contested grab. He can play full forward and kick a goal. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. He's just fucking awesome. Like he's so fucking good.
I agree. If you are going back into that builder character bit though, when you're like getting their appearance, would you change the haircut?
That haircut to me says he doesn't give a fuck about anything but winning football games. He's like, I haven't got time to go to the barber. I'm winning games.
So did you see the start of the year? He had the skin fade. He probably just got one and he said, Mario, I'll see you at the end of the year. Like, that's it. And he's just grown it out.
For him at the moment,
I love it. Because remember, that's what Brandon Ingram did. Remember he got traded from the Lakers. He went to New Orleans and he's just like, he just had the peach fuzz. He had a shock and mop, but he's just like, and then he turned into like KD for a year. Like
it's just business.
Like just became a sniper. So yeah, Bontempelli's game, that first goal as well, when he got it on the left side, looks in board. He's like, no, I'm just going to crack at this and just splits it and just come on.
But just everything about this game. It was an absolute multi-heaven game if you were on the right legs. If you were like me and you had who cost me? I can't remember now. Bobby Hill for 2 who was just one of the losing legs. Apart from that, it was just a multi-haven. If you had Bont for 25, 30, 35, Treloar for 30, 35, Dacos for 30, Crisp, if you had Crisp for 25, he had 24. Usually you have him for 20, you have Josh Dacos for 20. Just everyone was getting involved. This was a good game of footy.
Well, let's go through some odds then. So let's go 35 disposals. Bontempelli was $5, Treloar was $2.80, and Bailey Dale was $5.75. For 30s, who do we got? Nick Dacos, $1.39. Jack Crisp, so we're only getting... So apart from those guys, everyone's really short, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're all 20s and under.
Yes, remember I said last week after the Swans game, I'm like, when you actually go and watch the Dogs and you look at the talent they put on the park, you're like, how are they not consistently top 4 every single year? And then they sort of they flex their muscles a bit in the second half. But like Treloar's going to be pushing All-Australian. Bond's going to go All-Australian again. Darcy and Ugle-Hagan are guns. Bailey Dale's a gun. Ed Richards is a gun. They're missing Norton, who's a gun. Liam Jones and Alex Keith just get it done in the back half.
They do the job. Yeah.
They get just get it done as good as keybacks can be. Who else do they put it? Like Riley West can play. Cody Waitman will come back in. Vandermeer and Garcia can kick a goal. Like they've just got good players everywhere.
I just feel if you're going to get the Dogs in the next couple of weeks, it's a bit of a tough one. So they've got a massive run now, Jev, at Marvel. So they've got the Lions. Then they've got the Dockers at Marvel. Then they've got a bye. Then they've got, where are they? Then they've got North at Marvel. Fuck.
So they got a good run.
And then they've got Port. So then they've got the next 3 at Marvel.
So they're gonna be hard to beat there. They're pretty sharp there. Bond kicks a goal every time they play there. All right, let's move on. That was a good game. That was just good watching just for the mutual of just like 2 superstars, 2 all-timers going at it. I have a feeling Nick Dacos is going to be the best player we've ever seen, Das. I'm just watching at the moment, just going, hey, like 20, 21 years old. I think he's going to be the best player we've ever seen. He's not even close to his prime yet, and I think he's as good as any like all-timers. He's like Jordan Ablett into one.
His game will change though. Like this will be the most like almost elusive.
Fastest he'll be, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you reckon he'll have to put on a bit more size and become a bit more of like a junkyard dog?
He'll probably just do it in a different way, whether his body, like, hope to God he doesn't get injured because you just want to keep watching it. But
yeah,
like that's what happens with those players. They sort of lose a little bit, but then they gain it in other ways. But the next game, Jev, was a fucking cracker.
Hawks Adelaide. The Hawks get it done by 27 points. I'll let you speak a bit more about this game because I played my first game of footy for the year, Das, when I had to play 2s out at fucking Pegs. It was an hour away drive. I couldn't read the first game of the year. I've been training a little bit, but training in the dark with yellow footies. We're playing during the day with red footies. I wasn't reading the flight of the ball very well, Dust, or along the ground. I just wasn't picking up. I was a bit rusty. Then I got crunch, hit in the back of the head. It's like the bloke knocked the autism out of me, Dust, because I became Andrew McLeod after that head knock. He got me going. I was running off halfback, having bounces. He just knocked me into gear a little. So I didn't see a heap of this game. I was just dominating out there after a head knock. But Hawks were fucking awesome, apparently. Everything about them was awesome. Crows had a bit of a stinker, laid an egg. Tex went out early. Talk to me about this game.
Yeah, so I couldn't believe it, but Adelaide hadn't won at the MCG since 2017, but they always usually play there really well. So I think when we judge teams, because I know a lot of people came after me saying, you're an idiot for saying the Hawks are any good. They're absolute dog's ass. And I'm like, well, they've got a lot of injuries. And I'm like, for most of the time when you've got a lot of injuries, whatever your call was, I think you can put that away. You can put that on freeze for a while. It's like, well, maybe we have to wait till next year because I believe that this is actually going to be a good team. And they're rolling. The most scary things you can do, Jev, is give a young team that don't know anything confidence because they're rolling at the moment. So they were leading from the front. They just came out straight away. Cole Shadir, every game, he's only having about 6 touches and 3 shots on goal, but they are an unbelievable 6 touches and 3 shots on goal. Like, he's coming out, meeting the footy. Idiots again, Jev, as betters, me and you, unless if you took it. Getting guys on milestone games is a must. Cochin kicked 2 in like his 300th. We had Stringer the other week on Dreamtime at the G. Of course, he was kicking 4 goals. Jack Gunston didn't tail him at all. It's his 250th. Kick 3. Of course, they're going to be looking for him. Just bad gambling. Just bad gambling. So I'm going to be looking at that. But you look at their list, Jev. So Dylan Moore had one of the all-time games. So he's one of our favourites. We've said for weeks, if he plays local footy, he'd be a 30-4 every single week. So the way Sam Mitchell wants his small forwards, get up the ground enough so you can potentially get about 20 touches, but get close enough to goal that you can maybe kick 2 or 3.
Yeah.
He had 27 and 5 goals.
That's
won.
Such a big day.
Could have had 7 or 8, was lowering the eyes, trying to find Gunston and teammates on a lot of chances. Jack Ginnivan had 22 touches and he had 7 shots on goal, but only kicked 2 goals, 3. So he could have had a monster game. You've just got guys like Bruce is pretty much a sub. Hardwick had 14 touches and a goal, sort of played like a bit of a weird role. They sort of pushed him up the ground a little bit, had to body up a little bit more. But there was some times in this game where it was just effort after effort. And we've got our mate Cole that will be listening. So Colin, shout out to you. There was about 8 tackles in a row from the Hawks and the whole crowd stood up as if like they kicked a goal. Like those were his words. But then you've got guys that like Will Day came out. He almost kicked. Have you seen? He burst away from the middle. Could have kicked goal of the year. 2 bounces, balked, gave it. Hardwick couldn't give it to him back. It would have been goal of the year, like a Harley Reid, but he would have kicked it from like 20 metres out. That's how far he ran with the ball. They just ran all over them. And the more you look at it, like you got Carl Amon, Massimo D'Ambrosio has been a massive pickup. Jarman Impey, I couldn't believe that's still so young. But Cam McKenzie, he's still coming through. Newcomb, Scrimshaw, Weddle, Warple. Like they've got a young team. And then they just absolutely belted the Bombers in the 2s. Like they just ran all over the Crows. And for every better out there, Jordan Dawson would have killed a lot of blokes.
Yeah.
Only 15 touches, Jev.
Multi-killer.
But they can't win away from home. So officially now, Jev, you can't trust them.
No, can't trust them.
So officially now, can't trust them. You can't win by 100 points and then come out and serve this up.
But the problem is now they play Richmond at Adelaide Oval on Thursday night footy. I'm pretty sure it is. They'll probably win that by 100 points. And it's like, I wouldn't be surprised. Richmond's full forward just did his ACL. Watch him win this game by 100 points now. And then everyone will say when the Crows go on the road, oh, the Crows are dangerous. They're sneaky good. They're untrustable. They're even worse, their home and road team than Gold Coast are. At least, like Gold Coast have half a crack on the road. The Crows just don't. They're weak as water.
Well, so we have to say this now. Dylan Moore is in the talk for the All-Australian 40.
For sure.
So you can't just slot him in the side because you think about it's like there's only like 1 or 2 small forward spots.
Yeah.
So you can't call him in the side. You can call him in the 40 discussion for what he's done this year. His leadership, the way that he plays on the weekend. That is a perfect game.
It's a big game.
27 and 5 goals won and could have had 7 or 8. Like, I can't wait. I reckon this will be one of the highest rated games from champion data. Yeah. Just because on expected score, I don't think he's expected to score that much. And he was giving direct goal assists. So watch out if you do listen to Daniel Horn on Tuesday night on Sports Day. Because I reckon
Dylan Moore's your favourite footballer's favourite footballer, Das.
Yes.
He's just so easily loved. I was at a nice little pizza joint in Mentone last night, Das, and I was sitting next to Jai Newcomb, James Warple, and Ned Reeves. They are some they are some big dudes, Das. They are big. Ned Reeves is a big dude, and they were sore as buggery. But it was funny. I don't know if you watched the Sunday Footy show today, but James Warple goes on the Sunday Footy show, and they go, you're 2 games out of the 8. Are you looking ahead? Do you think you can make finals? And he goes, I was out to dinner with Jai Newcomb last night and we got up the fixture and we're having a bit of a look, but we're going to take it 1 week at a time. And it's like, nah, they know the games they're winning to make the 8 this year. So fucking good on them. They didn't ask for any of my advice, which is a bit of a shock. But
didn't they?
Nah, I wanted to go and annoy him, but I thought they're too sore. It was good. They were sitting in lounge. It's exactly like league footy. They were sitting in like lounge chairs, borderline asleep. They weren't talking much. They were just sipping a beer and having a pizza. And you're like, good on you, boys. You fucking earn it. And it was
having a beer? Oh, you can't dob them in, Jev.
No, because it was Jack Gunter's 250th. It was the 2014 Premiership reunion. Sam Mitchell was coaching. Luke Bruce came on as the sub. I was listening to Triple M driving home. And JB and stuff was carrying on. He's like, look at those animals up in the glass, banging the glass. Because apparently Luke Bruce kicked a goal and did the night-night celebration, didn't he? Apparently he did it straight to that corporate box of all the boys up in the box. And they all had a good night. And then they were all going out with Gunston for his 250th and Mitch was going. So it was good. It was a great day to be a Hawthorn Hawk, I'd say, Das, because when you got the Premiership reunion boys there, a couple of guys still playing, one of the superstars coaching, you just get it done, and that's what they did.
That's what they did, 100%. So, Jev, Dylan Moore, 5 goals was $51. Jack Gunston, can't believe we didn't take this, Jev.
No, I did.
$6.25 for 3. You did.
Yes. I got him for $5.25 for 3. He was 13 for 4, 41 for 5, and 126 for 6. I only started at 3, so I just made profit, but not much.
You know how we say guys how big they must look in person, like Barras in person's big, Darling's big when we saw him. Chris Burgess from Adelaide would be a lump of a lad. He's ginormous. So he kicked 3 goals, Jev. That was at $8. Jack Ginnivan was the small I was on, so I didn't cash on that front. But if we're looking at touches, the first 5 are all Adelaide. So, once again, they got a lot of it, but they just couldn't convert. So I reckon
their kicking inside 50 was debacle, wasn't it?
Matt Crouch had 35, which was $4.60. So the Crouches would be eating well. 30 touches. Mitch Hinge,
Rory Laird.
$4.30. Rory Laird, $2.30.
And then 25, Saligo and Scholl.
Saligo was $1.52 and Scholl was $2.40.
That Lockie Scholl can seriously play. He's in good form. He's going to be on my radar, Das. He's playing some good footy.
Of like a future star. He's not period, but just
no,
future.
For betting wise, 100K wise, like he looks like he's kicking a goal and having about 22, 23 a week. So,
yep.
And then we're happy with the Hawks. Much money on the Hawks players. What Dylan Moore paid for 25?
He paid. Sorry, just had it. Dylan Moore. Couldn't get him. Oh, you could. $13.
Oh, geez. So 13 times 51, that's like 850 to 1 or 650 to 1 or something. Oh, you could have got for Dylan Moore's game. If you took the Hawks to win as well, you would have got 1,000 to 1 for Dylan Moore's game.
That's awesome.
That would have been another. All right, next game. Moving on. West Coast versus St Kilda. The Saints fans can take a breath and a sigh of relief. They get the win. They win by 14 points over in the West. Das, talk to me.
Yeah, I watched the whole game and I said earlier on the week, again, St Kilda were underdogs. They were underdogs, but before the game, they came into $1.63 to $2.25. Obviously, West Coast had Waterman out. But I said to you early, if you're a St Kilda man, betting the line is the bet. Like you just back your team to get a win over West Coast that just lost by 99. You've got a few guys back in. You just take the $1.90. I believe the line was 7.5. So you thought he'd be close. So either way, you probably would have got there in the end, whether West Coast just kicked a goal late. But it came into $1.63. Harley Reid had one of the all-time first halves. Like, he was bashing blokes. But it felt like towards the back end of the game, you've seen his colours a bit now. He does get a bit emotional, gave away a couple of free kicks, started slinging blokes. And Windhager went to him and just tried to wear him like a glove, which Windhager definitely got the better of him. But sometimes when you look at some of the stoppages, a ball would bounce the right way and Windhager would sort of get one and like, oh, he's won that one. It's like, no, that's sort of a bit of luck. Like, he didn't really win that one, but he definitely shut him out towards the back end of the game. But their first half, they're a different team at home. As soon as he touches the ball, Harley Reid, it is so fucking loud. But great win. The smalls that we had, Liam Henry, could have kicked 4. Was it 67s? He kept giving them off. I was ripping my hair out. Flying Ryan kicked 3 goals too.
He kicked 3 in like a minute, didn't he?
Oh, had him for 4, 5, and 6 as well. So he missed 3 in the first quarter. So we could have had a big night there. Mason Wood was awesome. I think he's a player that you forget about. He's been injured so often.
Yeah.
Like, he was at North, didn't get a good run. He got obviously belted in the second game, knocked out against the Pies. But it was, as I said, it came down to the last quarter. And some of the St Kilda older guys really stepped up. Higgins really inserted himself in the end. Tim Membry came through. Seb Ross kicked a goal. So that's what you want from your leaders. But
Max King was actually doing some nice things until he sort of hurt himself. He hasn't done his ACL, has he?
No. They just had knee soreness because he was running on the boundary, but then they took him off. But the first half, Jev, Tom Barras was fucking awesome. He was unbelievable.
I love him so much.
If you're a St Kilda fan, so I was about to go ready on a Facebook Live and on an Instagram and just be like, Saints fans, send us in your best voice memo, because I was going to play him into the microphone, the best 2 or 3, but we didn't get to get that one out. Nasai Wanganeen-Malira, Jev, was running through the middle. He got a license in the last quarter. Yep. David King's been calling for it, and he looked dangerous.
Yep.
He looked so fast. So hopefully they explore that a little bit more. As you said, Jev, deep breath if you're a Saints fan. Hopefully this can be the start of it. But, it's still not looking that good for them.
I just have to give the Saints fans one little clip. So, as you said, Harley Reid was dead set unbelievable in the first half. And then Marcus Windhager probably got the best of him in the second half. Fair enough. So, we got a couple of DMs saying Marcus Windhager made Harley Reid his bitch. And our man Bally, who's been sharing our content a bit, sent me a photo of Marcus Windhager walking the dog, and he cropped Harley Reid's face onto the dog and stuff. And I sort of just replied, I'm like, is it not a little bit embarrassing that you had to tag a 9-gamer because he was just dog walking your midfield? Like, Jack Steele didn't have a possession at quarter time. He had 17 for the game. Harley is in his 9th game and was the best player on that field by an absolute mile, and you had to send your best tagger to a 9th gamer because he's just making you look stupid. Like, is that not just showing where the Saints are? Like, they were that worried about this 8-game, 19-year-old kid. They're like, we're going to have to tag him or he's going to embarrass us even more like he did in the first half. So they are lucky they got the win, the Saints. They did well. They needed that win. They got it done. Happy for them. Can they win 2 in a row? Have they got a bye next week? I think they got a bye.
Saints. No, it's a full slate. Oh, no. It's only Port and Frere. They got the Suns. Saints.
Suns at Marvel. The Suns hate going to Marvel. As Dwayne said, no team should lose to the Suns at Marvel. It's too cold for them, Das.
So the Suns are favourite currently.
Wow.
Saints are 210.
I see the Suns are really good, but at Marvel, they're not that great. No, what did Dwayne say? No team worth their weight in salt. No Melbourne team worth their weight in salt should lose to the Suns at Marvel. And we sort of spoke about this last week when the Carlton came off a couple of losses and the Suns were coming to the town. Everyone's like, oh, can the Suns get it done? They're not that good at Marvel. It's too cold for them in that igloo dust.
They can't play there. So that's how I say it. Imagine being in a sauna, and then you jump in the ice bath.
Yes, and then you're going to play footy in the ice bath.
It's a shock. Like,
you train in the sauna, then you play in the ice bath.
You know what? I'll give you a free tip to everyone. When Tassie come into the league, if they have to go up north, never tip them. If a north team ever plays in Tassie, you get towelled up.
Yeah.
That's it.
We'll just wait for that to happen.
You know, it's like
when Tassie go to Gold Coast for the first year and Jed Walter's 24 years old and he's won his first Coleman, he'll be on 10 watch.
You know what it is? It's like when the Dolphins and the Pats verse each other. They verse each other twice a year. When they play Miami win. When they play at New England win.
It's like 40 degrees in Miami and snowing in New England, and they just never beat each other in their home. All right.
I'll quickly mention Mason Wood. You couldn't get him for 4 goals, but for 3 goals, he was $34.
Ooh, that's nice. And then there's no real possessions. Nah, and there's just flying Ryan and Thingy, as you said.
But just want to mention, I think the way that the Eagles are going, they will definitely be able to recruit 1 or 2 people because it looks fun playing over there now. It looks fun. Absolutely. So they got a couple of really nice young kids. Ruben Jinby, he just needs, if he gets a little bit more polish, whether they thought he was going to be like a Cripps, like he just doesn't seem like he moves as fluently. Cripps doesn't move super fluently, but he's a bit robotical, but there's something there. There's something there with him. So if they can figure that out, if you can get a couple more years out of McGovern, I think it'll be a very fun place to play.
The Harley Reid 2 weeks, you think you should have got 2?
I don't really. I just think, especially with dissent, like the swear, I get where they're trying to go with the game, but you know, like they don't let players swear or like do any of that ticky-tacky stuff because about the juniors, because they don't want to set a bad example. But it's not the juniors. These are professional. Like this is their livelihood. Like if they're frustrated and want to say fuck or yell, like let them go. Like they're the pros. Yeah. Like they're the absolute best of the best. Like these guys only have to take a week off for concussion. What does every other league like?
21 days in the BAFA.
It's a different league. Like they are the pros for a reason. There should be a little bit of leeway. I get the sling if that's weeks, that's weeks. But I still think the game has never been easier to be suspended.
Yeah.
So awards need to be judged a little differently. Like merit. Can you imagine if he won the Brownlow last year and went for that little tackle? Remember Sicily's one? He got 3 weeks for that tackle that wasn't – I didn't even think it was a week. So I just think with the game being so suspendable, if you punch a bloke in the face, well, you can't win it. Yeah. But I feel if it's a football act or like –
you just get it wrong a little bit. Yeah, you do a football act, but you get it wrong.
It's like, where do you draw the line? So it's like if Peter Wright was in Brownlow contention, does he win it? Or is that like a definite rubbed out offence? But like, I just think it's such a hard.
It's such a hard line to. Yeah, I agree with you.
If you're suspended and you cop 4 weeks and you come back and still win it, you deserve it.
Yeah, it just annoys me how Sportsbet have now suspended the market, and you just couldn't bet on anyone. Oh, like they haven't even brought it back, I don't think. I'm going to quickly look. But like also all the gambling that comes into it, like everyone with Harley Reid Rising Star in their multi have just, there goes that sort of thing.
So I actually got a message this morning, Jev. I got a message from someone. I'm not sure if you got the message as well.
Oh, yeah, I think I know where this is going.
Did you get it from Maury?
Nah, what was it?
I got to admit, he's like, geez, I hope these 2 kids get suspended. He's got the Blues for the flag, Dacos for the Brownlow, Kerno for the Coleman, and George Wardlaw for the Rising Star.
Wow.
So he's like, George can make a run now.
Wow. I've got a bet with Riley Sanders and Bont Brownlow. And I think Riley Sanders is a bit of a dud, but can he have a good second half of the season and come from the clouds?
He won't be a dud. He just can't get into the the way he moves, I think he's going to be a very good player. He just can't get a game in this team at the moment. Like he'll probably be one of the best picks of the bunch. Give it a few more years. But
yeah, I agree. It's just frustrating when you've got financial riding on him and he sucks. Right, next game. The Cats get it done at GMHBA by 30 points after a bit of a scare from the Tigers. They fucking had to crack the Tigers. It was good to watch. Did you see much of this game, Das?
I watched the first quarter, then I went to bed.
Really? You're cooked?
I went to see. I was tired, Jev, but I did watch the back end today. My smalls that I did pick, though, when you go through and pick your goal kickers, there's someone that jumps out. Ollie Dempsey jumped out at me, Jev.
Yeah.
Bang. I'm going to take him 1, 2, 3, 4. For 4 goals was $67.
Wow.
But for 3 goals, he was 14. That's all I'm looking for now. You know when you go on
sprinkle for 14. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go and look at the goals, you just scroll through and you're like, who could pop up? And I just take the guys who have the most value.
Yep.
Because 1, that's going to be the best thing for your pocket and your account. And 2, they're a higher price because they haven't done it in a few weeks. That means they're probably due. And when you only have a sprinkle, it's only a couple of bucks. So I did watch the rest of it this morning. They did get off to a really good start, didn't they, Jev? But the back end of the game, once they did start to get going, they really put the foot down. Jack Bowes has been playing some pretty good footy. And I do think, I know you reckon he shirked it the other week, but I think Tanner Bruin's actually a really good footballer.
Yeah, he's not too bad, is he?
No, I really think he's been a really good pickup. Like, he's just a little bit more classy than like what an Atkins is. He's not as athletic as like a Holmes, but he'll be like a Guthrie or a Duncan type where he'll just be there for the next 150 games.
Yeah.
And if you just keep him in that system and everyone plays the same, he'll do what he can. Like 26 and a goal, that is what you want from a midfielder.
Yep. You'd love that as a midfielder. This Ollie Dempsey kid, he's kicked 3 and had 27 as like a small sort of half forward in his first year. Like, that's a big game for a kid.
100%. But he looks lively, doesn't he? He looks like he can they just find these little guys that can just pop up. So like him, like Brad Close, they're just perfect.
Geez, they've worked out Tom Stewart a bit. Fuck, again last night he cracked the shits. I think he got a bit injured. I think he got a bit niggled. But geez, he was whinging and cracking the shits and not happy with how he was getting treated and stuff. I was with a Richmond supporter last night, sort of watching this game, and he's going to be so shattered if Liam Baker leaves. Sorry. He's like, Liam Baker is such a stud for us. And like, he's got that bit of class with footy in hand. He's got that, can plug him and play him anywhere. He's tough. He's courageous. Like, he is small. And personally, I wouldn't overpay for him. Like, if the Swans were saying they're going to pay Liam Baker $950 a year for 5 years, I'd be a bit like, oh, I don't want to pay it. But he's such a good footballer. Like, he's so smooth. I remember that Dreamtime last week when he burst out of the centre clearance and just hit up, I think it was Mikel Lafati or whatever his name is, and he just has that class about him. So he had 31 and a goal. They just had to crack the Tigers. They had to crack that. A good game plan. I don't know if you saw Noah Bolter showing Adam Uze his colouring book. Did you see the colouring book he was showing him? He had the colouring book and he had his 2+2 and 3+3 equations. And he was showing him he got it all right. He drew in between the lines. I don't know if you saw all that, but he's like, come here, coach. It was middle of the game. He's on the bench. He's like, have a look at my colouring book, brother. So, and Adam Uze is like, good on you, mate. Now just go, don't fuck it up, sort of thing. And he put him back to centre back. But yeah, they had a crack at Tigers. Yeah, when they've got their full squad in, if Tom Lynch plays last night, they nearly win, sort of thing. Like they've got some good players too. If Tim Taranto and Tom Lynch play that game, they probably beat the Cats at GMHBA. So they've obviously their coaching isn't bad. They're just riddled with injuries, absolutely riddled with them. So anyway, they weren't going to win that game. They had a crack. It was good to see. I don't know if people took the Cats line. You probably would have thinking they'd be back. But the Cats are not impressive at all at the moment, and they're coming to the SCG Sunday against the Swans off a bye. I think we're absolute certainties. I'm going to have a quick look. If you want to do some odds on this game, I'm going to have a look at the line, Das.
Yep. So I did mention that Ollie Dempsey was $14 for 3 goals. Lafau for 2 was $2.30. Hawkins kicked a couple. What was he? $1.62. So was Neil, $1.86. Some touches. Let's have a look. So Liam Baker for 30. I do have a question for you as well, Jev. Liam Baker, $5 for 30. That's nice. Jack Bowes, $3.80 for 25. That's nice. So this is what you want if your midfielders are getting touches. So Jack Bowes, Max Holmes, what was he? $1.36. That's actually pretty short. And then Atkins, Dempsey, Duncan, and Bruin. So Atkins, where was he? Bruin was $4.60. Atkins was $6.25.
Fuck, you could have made some money.
Yeah, on the East Tide. Dempsey was $14 for 25. Yeah, that's good. What I wanted to ask, Jeremy Cameron, was he in the pyramid?
Last row. And he's going down.
Yeah, so if he doesn't have a game against the Swans,
you reckon he's out
of the pyramid for this year?
Yeah, for the integrity of the pyramid, he has to leave soon.
Best performance, like consistent performances this year.
Yeah.
he isn't in the top 21.
I agree. He's in there off a bit of runs on the board.
He's best. You're arguing he's top 3.
Yeah, but fuck.
He's just not doing it. So
yeah, 1 goal, 16 touches. Didn't really get it done again.
Yeah, they just got it done. Do you, what was the line before we move on?
Have a guess. Have a guess before I tell you.
At the SCG, Swans 16.5.
18.5. I'll be taking the Swans, Das. I'll be taking the Swans probably in the 100K as well. There's our first league. We built around the Swans minus 18.5.
Okay. Next game.
Next game, the biggest shock result of the round. I did not see this coming, Das. The Dockers beat the D's by 92 fucking points after they conceded the first 2 goals. They fucking dog-walked them. Absolutely dog-walked them. I actually didn't see much of this game. I was driving around organising shit, so I was listening to it in the car. They just fucking smashed them. Did you see much of this game?
No, I didn't actually. I've been out all over. I didn't get time to watch the mini, but I was checking. And the first thing that came to my mind, Jev, was exactly what you said. If you don't tag Jordan Clark, he's going to make you pay. Yep. So he had 36 in a goal. He had 27 kicks. That is what this bloke wants to do. He doesn't want to have 27 handballs. He had 9 handballs. He had 27 kicks. He wants to use his feet. He wants to run. So that is unbelievable, the fact that he had 151 ranking points. Ryan still gets his own 28 disposals. Gawn still looks like he had a good game. But I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
What's happened? Actually, no, you know what's happened. I'm telling you this. I'd messaged a group before. The loss of Brayshaw is bigger than what anyone else thinks. He is an absolute plug machine. If you need to put him in the midfield, you need to put him on the wing, you need him to tag, sit at half back, you can put him forward. He was a genuine gun footballer. But maybe this is an anomaly. I don't know, but you get smacked by 92 points. I can't really comment on it too much. Sorry about this. We actually had a D supporter message in a couple of weekends ago. Said, I listened to the pod. He's like, hopefully you guys can talk about the Ds a little bit more. Sorry, I actually didn't watch this game, and I'm sure you don't want us to talk about the fact you got dog walked by 92 points. It's not good, Jev.
I've been on this for a couple of weeks now. So Jordan Clark played really well against Richmond in round 8. The Swans go to Perth. The Swans are the best team in the league, and they tag Jordan Clark. So they've put on tape that he is a damaging player. They get in the ball and he tortures you. So they put James Jordan on for the night. He has 16 touches. So stop Jordan Clark goes a long way to beating Freo. The next week against the Kilda, he has 29. I'm pretty sure 29. Then he had 35 against Collingwood. I think he shared the perfect coach votes with Nick Dacos. I think they both got 9. Then he's had 36 against Melbourne. 36, 35, 29 after the Swans tagged him and beat him. It just annoys me. Like, the best team in the comp put on tape that this bloke is a good player, and they did it on a Friday night over in Perth. And now no other team just thinks, oh, no, we'll just go head-to-head with him. He's going to torture. They get it to him. Luke Ryan takes the intercept mark, and he gets it to fucking Jordan Clark, and then he gets it to Big Pizza Hut Josh Tracy that just goes snagglepuss.
And Jai not a miss today. He went and kicked some goals, took a high mark, which I saw. So, Freo fans, if we have any, I'm sorry I can't comment on this game too much.
I feel bad. We do
have a bit of a life as well. Sunday midday sometimes is a little bit hard. Can't comment on this too much. Jev, do you have the odds, though, for this game?
Yes, I do have the odds for this game. Give me 2 secs. I hope some people... I didn't even have a bet on this game because, as you said, it was driving around. It crept up on me. But...
Luke Jackson kicked 3.
Yeah. They gave Max Gawn a bit of a bath, I think. Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson. Righto. So, I've got Melbourne goals up. We've got anything of worth any value. Tom McDonald for 2.
He's gone back forward. He was meant to be playing backline.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Freo goals. You give me the player. I'll give you...
Jai Miss for 4 snags.
11.50.
Nice. Luke Jackson for 3 and Tracy for 3 and Walters for 3.
$7 for Jackson. 3.80 for Pizza Hut. And who was the other one?
Walters. Mickey.
Oh, he kicked 3, did he?
Yeah.
Mickey Walters. Was he going to be a laid out? I couldn't bet on him here.
Yeah, maybe he was. Michael Frederick for 2.
3.75.
And touches, let's go Clark for 35 plus. He had 36.
Jordan Clark, here we go. For 35, you're at 10-1, which is very nice. He's had it 2 weeks in a row. That's got to be on watch.
Yeah, so for 25 touches, we got heaps of people here. So many, actually. All right, so we got Ryan.
Fine, Ryan, your man. $2.95. Only $1.50.
Christian Salem.
Just go more Freo players and I'll go to Melbourne players.
Sarong 27.
Geez, he's a gun. He's short as $1.14.
O'Meara.
He'll be a bit more. He was 11-1 for 25. Wow.
Hayden Young.
He's a bit shorter, $1.64.
Brayshaw.
$1.32.
Switowski.
Your man, the Switter. They were calling him the Switter on Triple M. They're like, Switter! He was $6.75 for 20. $2.12 for 15, Das. $6.75 for 20.
Wow. And then over on the other side, Salem and Petrarca both for 25. That's pretty much it.
Petrarca. Salem was $2.15. Petrarca was $2.05. It's weird. So Petrarca was $1.20 for 20 and then $2.05 for 25. And he's had 41 games in a row now, as Morg said on the pod.
Before we'll go through the next game, and then I'm just going to read out the games for the next game because actually for the next week it's pretty interesting. And then you just give me who you reckon's favourite. We'll go through that. We'll do that quickly then. But the last game, Jev, Sunday, this was a cracker. Games at 4:00. The Bombers and the Suns. We just thought the Bombers would due a loss, and the Suns got absolutely belted the week before. So you think that they're probably going to get up at home. I definitely think in the second half, once it did look a bit more slippery, I know people might say it's not a thing, but they just look like they move the ball a lot better, Gold Coast, like whether they handle the ball a little bit better. But it was a really good game. It was a really good win. What were the things that stood out for you?
Matt Rowe's second half doing centre clearances. He borderline disrespected Zach Merritt at times, Das. He was winning centre clearances and just running straight at him and breaking tackles. He was fucking awesome. They had to put a body on. He looked super physical. They are so good at home, Das. So good. Ben King, just watching Ben King want to be a gun forward is very satisfying to watch. Noah Anderson, again, he's a Hall of Famer on the Gold Coast. He's a gun. And then just Essendon. I think Essendon are really good, Das. I think they are really, really good. They had a crack. So if they just went up there and just lost this game by 5 goals and never really had a real crack, I would have thought they were weak as piss and a bit of a pretender in that second position. But the way they played and the way they set themselves up to have a crack to win and their good players played well again and stuff, they just made a few mistakes. I think they are really good and I am impressed. But saying that, if I hear one Essendon supporter whinge about the umpires, I will fucking spew up. My number one rule, as it is I do not care about the umpires, Das, at all. I think it's the hardest job in the world. 1, it would be so fucking hard to be an umpire. And 2, I think the better team always wins, right? So, if you're worrying about the umpires, worry about is how your team's kicking for goal. Are they putting their head over the footy? Are they first to the footy? How are their skills around the ground? Are they tough? Are they hitting all their skills? And then are they nailing their set shots? Because that's what goes to winning games. When I'm watching the Swans at the moment, I am never fucking worried that the umpires are going to cost the game because I know how hard we're going at the footy and I know how skillful we are around the game. And 1 or 2 or 3 bad decisions are okay because we're still going to get ourselves into the game by just being harder for longer sort of thing and being fitter and better. So if I hear one Essendon supporter whinge about the umpire, I'm going to fucking lose it because they were kissed on the dick with that Sam Durham 50 that took him to the goal square. Did you see that one?
Yep.
And then that Jordan Ridley should have been holding the ball in the back half. Jed Walter tackle. He took him on. Jed Walter wrapped him up. Should have been holding the ball set on goal, and it was just a ball up. And there was one more I can't remember right now. But they were kissed on the dick, and then there was a couple that didn't go their way. So if they whinge because they don't think they won that game without the umpires, I will be fucking fuming. But that's about it, Das.
Yeah, so they had the Caldwell one at the end, which was a bit of as they said, a grab more than a tackle. And then it went out, and then Laverde just turned around and thought he gave it to. I don't think that's 50.
Yeah, that one annoys me as well.
Can we Can we get that one out of the game? Because the game was sort of still in the balance. So you're going inside 50, you might get a rebound. 50, you come out like that iced the game. So that really annoys me.
Yeah, I agree.
Just some of those ones, they kill you when you're watching as a fan. Like, I don't want to watch that. I'm like, no, that's not 50. Like, straight away. Mac Andrews, Jev, we can talk about this kid every week. He's going to be an All-Australian. Ben Long has found himself a spot in that side as a mid-forward tagger, whatever you want, putting on pressure. But he makes the most of his opportunities. I thought Ainsworth played really well today. He was running up and down.
Bailey Humphrey again. Our man Bailey Humphrey. He got I couldn't believe they subbed him off. I couldn't believe it. Thought he was playing fucking well. I love him so much. He kicked his 2, I think.
One, and then Flanders still gets his hand on it. I love guys that can get their hands on it. So even if you're losing or you're behind, you want to know guys if they can get their hands on it and release to other guys, because some guys just might run around all game and they can't get their hands on the footy.
Yep.
But at least if you get it, you can give it to your better ball user. And Flanders always seems to find it. Anderson seems to find it. Took does. Rao does eventually when the whips are cracking, when it gets a little bit harder and a little bit tougher. And Sexton, what a resurgence from him. He was their leading goal kicker for a few years and went back to the twos and defense. Now he's sort of playing a little bit more in the midfield. But next week's game, Jev, I think the Bombers just put a line through this. They come back home. How big is this Sunday night match between Essendon and Carlton? Because I feel Blues got pants last year. I just feel the matchup's perfect.
Yep.
So
perfect.
I feel we're finally going to see the Tism Cup. So Ben and Harry. So they're both going to have a couple little cock-ups each, which will be funny. So we'll see that. Harry will probably kick it into Ben's head on the mark and then get it back, then kick it down the full. Like it's going to be a comedy of errors. So it's going to be really good. Like you got McGrath, Perkins, Redmond. Like they're just good stars, and I like how it's going to match up, especially with Ridley now. But the only bad thing, we're not sure what Kyle Langford's done. He got subbed off injured. I really want him to be playing.
Yep.
You want both excuses. You never want to verse every team at their best. So I feel the Suns, they're yet to win away from home, Jeb. So they're a bit weak.
Yep.
So they're 6-0 at home and 5-0 away from home. So
that's fucked. That is so frustrating. I suppose
it's weak.
When you get a new coach, become unbeatable at home and then learn to win on the road. So I don't mind it. And West Coast are doing it that way as well. Adelaide should be more mature than that, but they're obviously not. But West Coast are very good at home and pretty average on the road. The Suns need to be a bit better. But if you're a Bombers supporter, you're filthy about Jake Stringer, 0 goals 2, Nick Martin, 0 goals 2, Cole Langford, 0-2, Zach Merritt, 0-3. You're filthy about that. They couldn't take their chances more, and thing kicked 11-14 to 14-7. But it's the Suns. It's the Suns up there. You got to beat them. You got to beat them. And they didn't do that. They left them hanging around and the Suns got them on the back of Matt Rowell and Noah Anderson, as they do every time. This was good. This was just good to watch. Jack Lacoste just popped up as he always does. Geez, Bailey Humphrey was good. I'll tell you who was actually really good. Nick Hind in the second half. Kyle Bomb. The guy do you watch him how lively he was?
Yeah.
Kicked that goal that was probably touched. But that was the other one that will annoy me if Bombers fans complain about the umpires. But
have you seen those big white monster cans, the 500 ml ones that everyone has before they go to the gym, like zero sugar or whatever? Yep. I had one the other day.
No, you didn't.
I did, because I already had a coffee. I didn't feel like having another coffee. I went to the gym, and I'm so shattered at how delicious it is. I'm going to get addicted. They are 500 ml can. I did it in 2 goes.
And were you on fire, like caffeine?
Awesome.
Caffeinated?
It's like 160 milligrams of caffeine, like 2,000 milligrams of turmeric. Like I was feeling awesome. Like these things are so good. So maybe Nick Hind, he's
onto something.
I'm telling you, the big white 500 ml cans of Monster.
Wow.
They're so good. But
maybe next week at the pub we'll have a Kyle Bomb. Half Guinness, half Monster, Kyle Bomb. Sing up, bang.
We'll be fucking throwing up. So next week, Adelaide, Richmond at Adelaide.
Adelaide are like $1.06 favourites. I already heard him talk about it, which is just unbelievable.
So we take them, Dogs and the Lions, Jev, at Marvel.
Dogs and the Lions at Marvel. Dogs have to be favourites. Have to be.
Yeah, they are. So that's $1.54. I'll just get the Lions.
I'll guess the Lions. I'll say Dogs by about $1.54 is usually about 12.5 points.
So 10.5.
10.5, yep.
Hawks and the Giants.
Tassie. I think it's in Tassie.
Yep.
I'll say the Giants are favourites, but only by like 3.5 points.
Damn it. I just had it. 1 second. Sorry, listeners. What'd you say? Giants 3.5?
Yep.
8.5.
Giants favourite by 8.5. You like the look of the Hawks?
You have to.
Just give them a bit more. Get them to about 20 for sure. They're so confident right now.
West Coast and North Melbourne.
Whereabouts?
Here. No, over there.
Oh, no, Harley Reid. That's shattering. See, like West Coast have got to be favourites by about 15.5.
18.5. This is a game.
Yeah.
This is a game that, Jev, they've got this circled.
Off a bye, I have to take those North points. I have to.
Same.
But can North kick enough goals past McGovern and Barras? Like, those two are beasts.
True.
And Waterman plays again. Like, they're fucking good. But I will be taking that North line. I don't know why. They're terrible.
St Kilda and Gold Coast here.
Fuck. It's got to be the same. It's got to be like 2.5 points either way. I'll go the Saints.
3.5.
Saints, favourite?
Nah, Suns.
Gold Coast favourite. Yeah. That's the one.
You got to take points at home.
Yeah, take points at home and just pump it up to like 15 points for your $1.30. Yeah, I like that.
Swans and
we know that.
Geelong,
8.5 for the Swans.
18.
Gobble up those Swans points. We will run so fast at that Geelong defense with skill and precision, and it'll be at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Bombers and Carlton.
Oh, this is good. It's got to be 1.5 point either way. I reckon that Carlton off a longer break and less travel than Essendon coming back on Sunday night from North. I'll go Carlton 1.5 points.
You reckon 1.5? See, I would have gone closer. Carlton at 10.5.
10.5. Wow. I was there last year when Essendon dog walked them.
I know. I just think honestly think if we're at our bet, that's bang on. I think we win by 2 goals.
You think you're just better than them?
100%.
Love it.
And I could be proven wrong. I just think if they play their best, we're firing our star power and defense holds up. I just think we win.
Any Essendon supporters that want to have the lines, a bet with the line straight up with Das, comment on YouTube or DM us, 10.5 points. What you want on for the stake could be a shaved head bet. It could be an ear piercing bet. Could be a palm or a pot or a slab. We'll send you a slab. You send us a slab. Message us because I want to see Das have a bet with an Essendon supporter because the Bomber supporters will be confident in that 10.5 points.
10.5, I'll be taking that, Jev. And Pies and Melbourne.
Oh, fuck. Melbourne were woeful and the Collingwood are so injured. They're putting such an average side on the park. See, even that, it's got to be Collingwood by like 2.5. It has to be.
Melbourne a favourite minus 0.5 point.
Yeah, it's because of how injured Collingwood are. Like, it won't be any Pendlebury, no Degoe, nothing. But do they have the over-under out there, Das? Nah.
Total match points. Nah, not yet.
Okay. I'm just going to do some odds for Gold Coast Essendon. We missed that. Go, give me Gold Coast player goals. I got the Gold Coast player for goals here.
Yeah, so Ben King's having an unbelievable season, Jev.
He's even with Charlie on the Coleman. He was 390 for 4.
Apparently, so Ben King was on the right tit and Max is on the left. So the right had all the protein in it and all the good vitamins. And then Max had all like
the custard.
Didn't have enough calcium. So the bones are just a bit sore, Jev. The shoulders, the knees. So breast milk wasn't the good breast milk.
Tit, did he?
Yeah.
Ben Long was 29-1 for 4. Ben King was 390. Geez, that 29 would have been nice.
Lukosius 2, Ainsworth 1.
$2.08 for Lukosius. Ainsworth was $1.59.
Essendon goal kickers, Nick Cox. You wouldn't have been able to get him for 2, what I reckon.
1 was $4.20.
Yeah, the unicorn, because you don't know where he plays. That's why.
You don't see him out there often.
No, that's why he's a unicorn.
Any other Essendon goal kickers?
Nah, Wealthy, Hind, Harry Jones, Peter Wright. Fuck
All singles, are they? No, I'll just leave
So
them.
let's go touches.
Gold Coast
this
touches.
Is the bet, Jev. In hot weather, we have to back these guys for 25 and above.
Yep.
Anderson 33, Flanders 33.
And no, it was 2.45. Flanders was $1.78. Geez, he gets a lot of pills, Sam Flanders.
Sexton 30 would have been like $5.
10-1. 10-1 for Sexton for 30.
Tuke Miller 28.
Tuke Miller was $1.38.
Matt Rowell and Mac Andrews. What was he paying for 25?
Matt Rowell was $3.10. It's amazing. He goes from $1.40 for 20 to $3.10 for 25. And your man Mac Andrew was 6-1 for 25. We awesome. Have to start taking Suns players when they play at home for 20s. Guys like Mac and Sexton and all these halfbackers take them for 20. Anyone else?
No, Essendon touches. We got Merritt for 33.
Merritt for $30.88. And
then Hind for 20.
Your man Nick Hind for 20. How many did Mason Redmond have? $2.02 for 20 for Nick Hind.
Redmond had 23.
Oh, I had him for 25 and 100K. $1.30 for 20. I bumped it up. Bit stiff there.
So obviously 100K didn't win this week, unfortunately, but we did say if there was a leg to cost us, it better not be the Bombers.
I
better try because Jed didn't kick one. We had Stringer for 3. He didn't kick one.
That went hand in hand with Morgan's bet, but having Essendon head-to-head was a horrible bet. Gold Coast was so good at home. You and me knew it, but Morgs just wanted it in. And we got to be better than that. We got to just say, no, Lewis. No Bombers head-to-head. Hey, before we go, that's it for the pod. I found it very funny today. Last week, a little message pops up on my phone and Darce's message, Nick the Wiz Watson, hey Wiz, can you please sign my jersey? And Wiz replied, yeah, no problem. And then today Darce messaged the Wiz his VFL stats and he goes, that's a big game, Wiz. What do you have, 22 and 4 snags? And Wiz was like, yeah, felt good. So we are on speaking terms with the Wiz Watson. I'm not allowed to DM him because I'm too negative. It's just Darce chatting to the Wiz. So we are going to try and get Darce standing next to the Wiz back to back and get the jersey signed. We love you, Wiz.
He probably just thinks I'm a freak. He's like, who's this like almost 30
A 30-year-old's going to rock up and he goes, fuck, I thought I was talking to an 18-year-old kid.
I'm grooming a kid. Does this count as grooming? This isn't good.
It's pretty close. Pretty fucking crim.
I said, I can't wait to watch the highlights. And then I sent him a photo. Instead of Pornhub, it says WizHub.
You're a bad man. This is grooming. He's only just turned 18. Fuck. You love the Wiz. It's fair enough.
All right. Good roast, Jev.
Good roast. Good luck this week. Back on nights, yeah?
Let's go. Back on nights.
See you, mate. Bye.
Up the potty.